Hello and welcome to Coffee, Cars, and Horror. I'm your host, Kevin. Thank you for joining me. This is record number 4, I think. I am really bad at this, and I have done talked over an hour or more, definitely more, on the same story, but for some reason I cannot get it saved and get it recorded right. So I have to restart it every time because it don't save. But I don't want to do no editing or nothing either. So I like to do it non-editing, straight up, and do it over. So we're gonna do it again. Why not? Let's just do it again. So this is going to be a movie review episode number 1 technically, and it is on a Stephen King movie, and it's one of my favorite movies just because it is just so fun. It's crazy, and I can just put it on and just do whatever and just sit and enjoy it, like a lot of my movies that I like are. And this one's called Maximum Overdrive. Just something about vehicles driving by themselves makes me happy. And I like dozers and all that stuff too. I'm a grow up in a country farm, so um, tractors and dozers and stuff like that's my thing. I like trucks. I've never driven a big truck or nothing though. I do have American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulators, but I know that don't count. Um, so I had some truckers that was going to join me on this and be guest host on this episode, but unfortunately could not get them. Neither one of them to couldn't get a time to get with any of them with being sick, time zones, work, and etc. Just could not get it to work. So I'm just going to do it myself. We're going to wing it. We're going to do this again, and we're going to have fun doing it. So what I like about this movie is stated above, but also one of the main things I like about it, and a lot of people agree, is the soundtrack. ACDC did the soundtrack, great soundtrack, did a good job. Really enjoyed it. There are a lot of flaws in this movie, and I remember watching, like I think it was on TBS, a movie and a dinner, and they would do this, and they did this movie, and it was pretty cool. They had some behind the scene people like they knew, and actresses and actors that I didn't know that did the smaller stuff. But I gotta say, they did do good on picking their actors in this movie and actresses. Um, there's a couple that you could probably replace or do, but in all, I think they did a great job. We're going to get into some characters and stuff too. I got to keep this one under 30 minutes because where I'm recording right now, that I'm only allowed 30 minutes. So it'll be a shorter episodes. I like to get in longer episodes, but I'm going to have to figure out what I can use to go longer on reviewing episodes or doing movies or whatever products and stuff like that. But we're gonna do this one and it'll be under 30 minutes. So hopefully you can enjoy it and my babbling won't bother you too much. But I'm currently watching the movie, and so I've watched the movie so far that we are now where they're filling up the trucks, where they all of a sudden say, "Oh, we have to fill them up with fuel," but then moments later, then they want to take a grenade and blow it up. Why they didn't do that to begin with is part of my problems on that movie, but uh, let's just go right to the thing that probably bothers me more than anything is the the way I don't know. There's a couple things. Well, there's three things really. One's a comical thing, but three things. One is they're at a truck stop. There are truckers there. They're mainly all truckers. There's not hardly any other vehicles there besides trucks. So they have to be truckers when you narrow it down. And they can't decide what is a gas or what is a diesel, and they don't know. I mean, if it was me, instead of saying, "Oh, they're about out of gas" or whatever, why don't they say, "Hey, things running low on fuel. Things running out of fuel." That way, you got the thing covered. I don't understand why they just couldn't use fuel instead of gas or diesel because they didn't really. I don't think there's any gas vehicles on this besides the um, lawnmower that somehow can start itself and push itself. That's not self-propelled. But also the one with the machine gun on it. It's gas. But everything else, as far as I know, and the way it looks, is a diesel vehicle. So I don't understand that. That gets on my nerves. The way they talk to the women, every woman is sweet thing, sugar pie. I just don't understand why. If I had to hear sweet thing 5 more times, I think I'd probably go crazy. But I never understood why they talked. Said that. And one of them was a worker there, so he knew her name and he called her by her name sometimes, but he still called her sweet thing. Um, Oh yeah, right here we're looking at them. Oh, they're mad because now they're out of fuel, and the workers slash and truck drivers are watching this truck pull up on him with a fuel tanker truck, and they don't know what's going on or why he's doing it. Why this truck? What do you want? Well, eh, are you not? Are you that dumb that you can fill trucks up, but you don't know where it comes from? These workers that's got their overalls on don't have a clue what's going on. Don't know. Just don't know. And but yet I knew exactly what it was trying to do. And who wouldn't? Because it's a tanker truck. It's got fuel. You're out of fuel. He's going to give you fuel. I just didn't make no sense there either. But um, I will go back and like say, and another thing was which is a joke. But who the heck gets married at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Friday morning? I mean, you got Curtis and Connie. I think her name is, yeah. And they're getting married at 9 o'clock on a Friday. I mean, who does that besides the courthouse? So I thought that was crazy. I always thought that was funny. I was like, who in the world's getting on a honeymoon that early in the morning? But I guess Kurt and Connie did. But this thing has a lot of good scenes. I mean, um you got the bridge scene, which is pretty cool and it's pretty epic. There ain't been much like that done before. Um So that was pretty neat. It started to write off, and the toy truck is awesome. It's pretty cool. But I mean, I don't know um, much about trucks, but I don't know. It only has one gear selector, and so I don't understand how it operates going all the way to Texas and back. Most of them are 2 speeds, as far as I know, and I just don't know much about these trucks. That's why I wish I had a trucker on here that could explain some of that stuff to me. But I never knew trucks even had an air start before until I come across this movie, and I thought that was neat. And I wonder why they don't do it anymore. I think it'd be kind of cool to know um, why that was. But all in all, it was a good movie. Um, the baseball scene there was cool with the soda machine gun. That's cool, and then the darn steamroller, that was really cool as well. Um, One of my favorite scenes is Kurt looking at the ice cream truck coming after him because the ice cream truck's really cool too. And he's sitting there and he doesn't know what to do. He don't know whether to shoot it or not. He's just sitting there stunned. But then he finally decides to go for it. I always thought that was a funny scene and good. Um, but we talk about some characters here. I mean, Bubba was a character. I thought he did a good job. I think he played his role right. I mean, he was a businessman. He was a smart man. He had his own car there, big old Cadillac, of course, and naturally he would. He was a good character. I mean, that the actor played him was a good character. Yeah, Bubba as himself, he was self-centered and all about him and used to get in his way, and it showed. But I mean, the man knew what he knew, and he knew some people. He had connections, and he got what he wanted a lot of times. So yeah, I mean that's the way it is sometimes, and there are people like that. But one thing he was good at was he was really good with a rocket launcher. I mean, he shot 2 out of the 3 shots was dead on, killing the trucks dead in the tracks. Had he not shot the dozer's roll bar and shot the motor of the dozer, or better yet, shoot the machine gun, Bubba would probably still be okay. He probably still would have got ran over if he would have tried to run away because he's a pretty big boy, but he would have made it. So I didn't understand that. Of course, Wanda Jean, she's the female, one of the females that gets called sweet thing all the time, and who made who all the time. We made you. She, not so much on the rocket launcher. She shot a trailer and she went 0 for 1 in my consider because the truck can still drive. And if the truck can still drive, then you didn't, you didn't kill, you didn't do no good. Bill's 1 for 1. I think Bill shot one. It was a milk truck. He shot behind it. I think the truck could still run. I think he shot more of the trailer than he did the truck, so I think the truck could still run. And then, of course, he ultimately shot the toy truck and shot it point blank, and it died. So, yeah, so I think Hendershot Bubba had the better record as the rocket launcher. He's also, hey, he's an honest guy. He told Deke that his dad died and how he died. Did he do it passionately? No. Could he been passionate? Yes. But is he a passionate guy? No. But hey, I would want to know. I mean, why dance around the subject? He told him straight up. And, a lot of people gave him heck for that, but me personally, I think he did the right thing. Could he done it nicer? Of course, but that's just not his style. So, old Bubba, he did good. The church guy, he's a character for sure. And, I think he took a stab at Christians there a little bit, but, there are people like that and they're going to have to answer for. We're all going to have to answer for the things we did. But I thought they did really good picking him as a actor to play that character because I think he did a really good job. Some of the things he said was funny, and his way is just really funny. I like that. But yes, he is not. Truckers do not like him. I mean, the trucks did not like him. Every time he got out and spoke, they were ready to pounce on him. I don't see how fast those trucks go in reverse. I honestly don't think that I think he could outrun them. And I also don't think that would have killed him. And I don't think he would have been covered in mud. 100-degree weather day, because the day before is just as hot as the next day that they're filling, and it shows it's over 100. He wouldn't have been sunk in that mud. I mean, yes, it would have been a little wet, but I don't think he'd have died, and I definitely don't think he would have suffocated or whatever in the mud. So that's my opinion on him, but he did a good job, and he played his role good. Kurt and Connie, of course, did a really good job. Like say, Kurt was very helpful, where a lot of them were not heroes. He wanted to help and be a very helpful person, and Connie's not so much. She's a girly girl and not that kind of selfish, but she didn't want to lose her man, and I see that. But yeah, that the baseball scene was good with the steamroller and the ice cream truck getting back. Getting back from there would have been a task in itself. I mean, they could have made a whole movie just on him trying to get to this spot. They could have made it like they do nowadays. They could have made this movie a 3-parter to get back and the adventures along the way. But there was some contradiction here on that one. I know that the whole scene where they could have done without the lawnmower starting up on its own and pushing itself, which I don't see how that was possible. The hair dryer, you could have just thrown it down. I don't understand. Speakers blowing up in your face causing that. That whole scene where Deke's running through that yard is kind of crazy. I mean, you got a Volkswagen that's smoking out of the front, but it don't have a radiator and its engine's in the rear. I don't know why they didn't use a little more common sense than that. Pumping gas or pumping the fuel, rather, and They don't have they have battery powered bread knife or cutter there, but they don't make the little flappers that hold the fuel running there at the tank, and they get blisters on their hands from pumping fuel all day. I didn't understand that because I mean I would have used zip ties or something to keep it fueled, and I don't understand why the toy truck he got fueled up 3 times because he got Duncan, with the diesel fuel in the face, which, like I said, I've been on a farm and I've never known diesel fuel to be black. I've always had it as red dye and then green for regular, but I don't know. Like I say, I could have used the trucker's opinion on that. But then you got, um, yeah, like I say, the whole feeding them out, I just would have just wouldn't have fed them. I would have just thrown a grenade or something at them because ultimately that's what you did anyway. Um, the the whole concept, like the dozer and stuff running, I mean, that's really cool. I've always been on a farm and I've had this one tractor, and I don't know why, but it's that one tractor. And I've always dreamed that that tractor could take off by itself and chase me. And I've always dreamed that same tractor, none of the other tractors, just that one. And when I get on that tractor and drive it, it's always in the back of my head. I don't know why, but it is, and it's crazy because I know I can't do that. And I drive it, but I just don't know. It's just that tractor always creeps me out. I don't know why. It just gives me a weird vibe, and can call me crazy. I know, right? But it is. But um, that this movie's, like I say, it's got a lot of issues, but it's got a lot of fun in it. And I know they ultimately wanted to go to where they want to go to, but I think they could have. Just because the place they were going to doesn't allow vehicles doesn't mean that it will not allow vehicles now. Things have changed. Planes and stuff can fly all over them, or boats or whatever can still attack them while they're out in the water. I don't know if they really thought that through, but they had to go somewhere else. I mean, and I don't know where I'd go if I was in that situation. Water probably is the better place, because you don't know. How the toy truck knew that they were going to the marina is beyond me anyway, but um, it is what it is. I mean, that was just what makes it a movie, but I laugh at that stuff and I like it. Um, but it's like I say, it's a really fun movie. Check it out if you ain't seen it. Um, one of the things that's a funny thing, it's a Stephen King thing. I think it could even be more movies. I just know there's one saying in this movie that I've heard before in another Stephen King movie. So I was like, well, does he have more than one movie? I'll have to keep an eye out. But when they're down in the cellar or the basement, they're checking out the guns and the weapons and stuff. Um, they could have. He said Jesus Christ Palomino. And I heard that before. I'm like, what in the world? I've heard that from before on a Stephen King movie. And do you know where it's from? Well, the answer is Silver Bullet. And it's by Uncle Red. Gary Busey plays that part. And he says it a lot in Silver Bullet, which is another one of my favorite movies. And I just thought that was odd. I said, I mean, did they do it on purpose? Which one come between the other one or what? So it was pretty interesting, to say the least, to hear in that thing. And I thought that was a little tidbit that maybe most people don't know, but they might. It may be a common thing. Um, but, you know, let's just talk about for a second, what would you say if they remade this movie now? What would you do? Would you be happy? Would you be like, oh no? Or what would you do if they redid it? What would you like to see? I don't know. Me personally, I think you should leave it alone. I we used to think that it would be good, but now anymore, I'm like, no, I don't want Hollywood spin on this time of Hollywood spin on it anymore. I think it's fine um, that you leave it alone. But it could be good. It could have potential. But I'm just too worried about Hollywood nowadays with remakes and stuff that they've done that I probably think it'd be best if they didn't. But, you know, you never know. I would love to hear y'all's ideas on it. Please comment and let me know what you would think about it if you had to do it. But I would think it would be pretty interesting, to say the least. Um, would I watch it if it came out? Of course I would. Of course I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch most of Stephen King's movies anyway. Um, but I do have a problem with the way Hollywood's trying to redo all these movies and certain movies. And I haven't heard that they wanted to make her Maximum Overdrive. I don't think Stephen King liked it, but I honestly think it was not a bad movie. But it did get some slack. But I mean, come on, it's an '80s horror movie. What ain't gonna get no slack? Um, they won't give nothing like now slack like they do some of these movies now, and I'd much rather watch some of these movies than I would some of the newer ones. But that's just my opinion. But I would like to see what y'all think about it. We might do another episode on this later on if we can get some of these, maybe get some interest in it and get the maybe work out a day that we can get the drivers on here and just to see what it would be like. I think it would be more interesting because we could go more in depth on what it was like to truck in that time, what they did, how they did it. Um, I think that would be a lot of fun. And then we could talk about the movie and stuff cool too, because, you know, I want somebody that would want to watch the movie and like the movie. But I mean, heck, I'll have to do an episode on somebody's reason why they don't like it, but I kind of know why they wouldn't like it, so I don't know. I'd like to have other people's opinions on why they would like it. But I'd do one with somebody that didn't like it, but it's much easier to do a movie that you didn't like than what you liked. But I think I touched on just about everything. I might have missed something between the 4 takes that I've done on this movie that I might have missed because I'm thinking that I've said this before, and I have said it before, but I don't know which time I've said it. So it's driving me crazy that hey, I want to bring up this subject, but wait a minute, did I already talk about it, or did I already talk about it on the before? I don't know, but that's just what we're going to roll with on this episode. So if you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, that's fine. I'm still learning. It's still new to me. I'm still trying my best, but I'm doing it for fun, and that's all it's going to be. It's for fun, unedited. It's going to be fun. Um, I didn't get my coffee today. The coffee I'm drinking is sweet tea, but I'm going to drink some coffee. Weather ain't exactly hitting uh, off the coffee yet. Winter still wants to hang around in my area for some odd reason. I'd wish it'd go away, but it wouldn't. But I just now noticed something that it is a 15% on the Rotten Tomatoes, but it's got a 4.5 star movie review. 15% on tomatoes is not good, I don't think. Uh, but I don't know. I think it's not good. But I'll tell you right now, I like it, and it's quite a following that people like it. So but that's just my opinion. But I appreciate you sticking around. Please stick around, listen to more. We'll do more stuff. If you got any suggestions, throw them at me. We'll do it. But that'll do it for this episode. And I thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. Hope everything's well and your family's good. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time. Bye.